Factor, hosted by Kennedy Blake. Hello, you guys. If you've never heard my voice before, welcome to the Flourish Factor. My name is Kennedy, and I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what this podcast has in store for you. But before I dive deep into this episode, I wanted to share a little bit more about me and the purpose of this podcast. So I made a list of some get to know me responses, so to speak, just so that you guys can have a better idea of who I am as your host and some of my background before getting into all that there is to talk about and all of the things that I cannot wait to discuss. I'm 21 years old. I'm born and raised in Maryland around the Annapolis area, but I have lived all over the state. I have two mini golden doodles named Pretzel and Tucker. They will be 2 years old in March, same month as my birthday. So crazy. I love them so much. They're just like the cutest little teddy bears, and they're so sweet. I'm a senior at Towson University, and I'll be graduating this May with my journalism degree under the umbrella of mass communications. And I also have a further interest in social media marketing, hence content creation, hence the new podcast. I have a boyfriend. His name is Justin, and I have been with him since the summer of 2020. So this June will be 4 years marked as a couple, which is so crazy. Time truly does fly by, and he is my best friend on the planet. I love to travel, jam out to music in the car, in my room, anywhere. I love concerts. I love to take pictures and to vlog. Shout out to my TikTok and my YouTube followers, because that is where you see all of my video footage and what I do on my day-to-day. I love to work out. I found a new love for working out over the past 2 years. I've been pretty consistent going to the gym, but have found kind of a routine that works best for me over the past 7-8 months now. So I will definitely go into that on its own episode about all things fitness and routine. If you know me personally, you A, think I'm a chatterbox that never shuts up, or B, you think I'm the quiet girl that sits in the corner of any social gathering, and both would be correct. I've always dreamt of sharing my thoughts, experiences, interests, and ideals with the world, but didn't know exactly how I wanted to do it. Over the years, I've tried different platforms, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Musical.ly, TikTok, YouTube, and even Vine. You name it, I have tried it. But nothing truly stuck. Not to say I haven't dabbled in content creation in some of those named platforms, but I always felt like I was meant to be heard in a different form. Growing up, I loved acting and dancing, even singing, though maybe out of tune, but I loved talking to the camera. I was always in the camera. My grandfather, growing up, would record everything. Me dancing in the living room to drawing on this little whiteboard where I had a bunch of little dry erase markers. I mean, he was my personal videographer, and I'm so thankful because now I can look back at all of these old tapes and just see myself in such an innocent, imaginative world and kind of connect the memories I have from a young age to the reality of those videos, which I think is really cool. And I think that's probably the reason why I enjoy vlogging so much, because I have literally had videotapes of my life growing up, and I just want to continue doing that because it's so fun to look back on, I think. And I think it'll be fun for my future kids and grandkids to be able to see videos of when I was a little girl. I don't know, I think that's cool. I think I owe it to my inner child to share a new side of me with all of you. I tend to be very to myself. I don't really show my true personality to many. Even those that I'm like pretty close with don't really get to see my full potential, I guess, because I have a very difficult time opening up to people. And I'm definitely going to get into that in future episodes as well. I just have a lot of trust issues, a lot of abandonment issues, and that kind of goes hand in hand with building new relationships and opening up to people and being in such a vulnerable state that then you put yourself out there and either people like you or they don't, or you risk getting hurt. And I think that a lot of people who don't analyze those situations just kind of go into it with a blind eye. And for those of you who are outgoing and extroverted and have a bunch of friends, like, good for you. I wish I were like that. But I guess since I have this other perspective of it, I am definitely closed off. Very difficult to read. Yeah, I'm going to go into that in a whole other episode because it truly is its own thing. With this show, The Flourish Factor, get that name in your heads because I'm going to be saying it a lot. I hope to bring out emotion and inspiration with you guys. I want to have those tough talks, lots of laughs, and build a community who wants to hear what I have to say. Or maybe you don't want to hear what I have to say, but you're bored and you want to listen to something to get the time by, and I'm okay with that. You know what? A view is a view, a listen is a listen, and I am interested to connect with you guys and see where we align, where we differentiate, and create conversation. I just think that's extremely important. And I don't care if it's one person listening to this episode or 100. If it could resonate with you, this one individual listening to my podcast, that would make my entire day, probably my whole year. Not even kidding. I fully appreciate any and all support that I give, even if it's negative criticism. I take it constructively, and that's another thing I've been working on for a very long time, was differentiating constructive criticism with just negative haters, which we just have to move to the side, shove them aside, because at the end of the day, they don't matter. Their comments out the window. I may only be 21, but I have endless amounts of stories to share with you guys and lessons that I've gained and learned along the way. Things that some 21-year-olds may have never considered, while others, specifically females, may understand or resonate with on a very deep level. And I think that sometimes we bottle things up and it comes out in a different way. And I think a lot of people can relate to this because life is hard, life is tough, and I want to bring awareness to that and let you guys know that you're not alone, and that a lot of these feelings that I have had or experienced over the years have felt so isolating. And then after lots of growth and work, I've learned to see that I'm not alone and that a lot of people actually relate to the things that I've felt or thought about. And it's comforting in a way to know that you're not alone, but it's also sad to think that there's other people that feel that same way as you. So I want to be a little comfort zone, a little corner in your life that you can go to when you want to feel like you have a friend or a big sister or just somebody to talk to. I don't know, like a personal podcast therapist, although I am not qualified and I do not want people thinking that I am self-diagnosing or putting thoughts in people's minds. I'm just speaking my truth. If you relate, great. If not, that's okay too. different perspectives are what humanity's all about. So I will say it. It is not easy being a woman in our society, or honestly ever. And I want to make that very, very prominent in all aspects of my podcast. Flourishing from a little girl to a woman comes with a lot of trial and tribulations and tears shed along with it. And I, as a woman, can relate and want to be able to speak upon those ideals and feelings and situations from my perspective, and just share how I've gotten through it. I don't know. I think sometimes hearing people's advice is kind of like, I don't care what you have to say because I'm the only one that could possibly feel this way, while others might think the opposite and say, hey, you know what? I've never thought of it like that before. Or, wow, it's nice to know that I'm not alone. From friendships to heartbreak, family drama to mental health, body image and confidence, to career choice and societal pressures, this podcast will have it all. I hope that the Flourish Factor will open your eyes to a new perspective, make you take a look at yourself and those around you, find your truest potential in all that you are and all that you can be. This was just a small introduction into the world that is and will be the Flourish Factor. And I am so excited and cannot wait to share with you all that I have in store. If you have enjoyed this episode, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe and comment. Follow me on all my socials. My Instagram is the_flourish_factor, and my personal is Kennedy McClay. And then with TikTok, it's just the Flourish Factor podcast. And that way you guys can just keep up with all my adventures, my day-to-day life, and updates with new episodes and polls and things of that nature. Podcast episodes will be released about every week, depending on my school and work schedule. I do have a part-time remote job on top of school and content creation, so I go back to class on campus next week to finish out my last semester of college. So I really want to make a new routine and kind of get in the flow of things and stick to it. And hopefully I can find a good day that works for me to record episodes and have time to edit them and upload. Future episodes will be videoed. This particular episode, just because it's an introduction, I decided to just do the voiceover. But next time you see me, the audio will be better, as well as having a visual, which I think is really exciting. I will be regularly uploading it on YouTube. So for now, I am sticking with YouTube. Hopefully one day we can move on to other platforms, but as a cheap Baroque college student, for now, I'm gonna stick to the free platform that we all know and love as YouTube. And I think that'll be kind of easy anyway because I can quickly see comments and reviews and likes and dislikes and subscribers and things. So I'll know kind of the engagement of the listeners a little bit better than I guess I would on podcast, like Spotify. So that's cool. But yeah, let me know if you guys have anything specific you'd like me to discuss in future episodes. I'm open to pretty much any and all suggestions. I was thinking eventually I could add in some fun little details to the podcast, like Q&As or guest speakers or anonymous story times and things of that nature, which I think would be so much fun. It would kind of build a sense of community, and we could hear from different people's perspectives, not just me blabbering on about something, which I think would be really fun and cool. And I really want to just create this community on here and let you guys be a part of it. And if there's a question or a comment you want to make and you want to be featured in the episode, I'm going to make a Google form where you guys can click the link in the description on YouTube, and I'll put it in my Instagram and my TikTok as well, so that you guys can upload questions or story times anytime you want. And if you want to remain anonymous, just put it in there that you want to be anonymous, and I will make sure not to include your name. I cannot wait to talk to you guys and hear your feedback on this. And please, 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 please do not feel afraid to comment down below any suggestions you have or how you feel about this introduction, any comments you have about how I could make it better. I'm going to work on creating some kind of like intro and outro music. Maybe I'll already have it in here by the time this episode comes out. And like I said, in future episodes, it will be videos, so you'll have a good visual, which is always very much appreciated. So, yeah, I think that that's it. This is the Flourish Factor with Kennedy Blake, and I will see you guys next time.